You are Locked On Nuggets POSTCAST, powered by Mile High Sports, part of Locked On Sports Denver on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Nikola Jokic doing Nikola Jokic things, becoming the first player in NBA history to record a 30-20-20 game as the Denver Nuggets go on to beat the Phoenix Suns 149-141 in overtime. Plenty to talk about. Welcome on into tonight's Locked On Nuggets postcast. I'm your host, Aniello Piro. You guys can follow me on social media at Media by AP. And I'm, playing a little hurt today. Been feeling under the weather the last couple of days. But let me tell you, a Nikola Jokic performance like that is enough to shake whatever the heck's going on right now in my body to come here and deliver a historic show, a historic moment, and talk about what was just a sensational performance from the big fella tonight. As he continues to cement himself as the best player in the NBA and the rightful, in my opinion, favorite for MVP. We'll get into that throughout the course of the program here tonight. All due respect to SGA. Again, I have plenty of thoughts about MVP and this and that, but let's just take a moment to process what we just witnessed tonight from Nikola Jokic. And it's like, there was a moment there where I thought Denver was going to lose this game. Kevin Durant hits the three-point shot in the corner. Okay, overtime, here we go. Denver blows a 21-point lead. And all of that is just overshadowed now by this incredible performance from Nikola Jokic, who finishes this game with 31 points, 21 rebounds, and 22 assists. The first ever 30-20-20 game in NBA history. I'm going to say that like 100 times tonight because you need to remember this. He is the best player in the world, the best player in the NBA. No questions asked, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And once again, he showed you why he is truly the most valuable player in the NBA today. So, wow, what a performance from Nikola Jokic. Interesting performance, I would say, from the Denver Nuggets. But guys, tonight's episode of your Locked On Nuggets postcast is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. And without further ado, why don't we get into our player of the game?
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
No surprise, it is Nikola Jokic, as he just does marvelous things. And I was able to catch this quick little post-game interview there with Scott Van Pelt on ESPN on national TV as well. So hopefully some East Coast crowd was up to see that. As Nikola Jokic and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander continue to battle for who will be the MVP this season. Of course, if Nikola Jokic ends up winning the MVP award, it will be his fourth in 5 years, with the off year being an NBA championship. There is just not enough good things that you could say about Nikola Jokic. I am just constantly in awe when I watch this guy. And my first season covering the Denver Nuggets with Mile High Sports was Jokic's first year in the league. I was, in high school, got a credential, doing my thing, writing stories, this and that. Jokic was the third string center. And never did I ever think that Nikola Jokic would ascend to this level of play, to this level of dominance, and what he has been able to do on the basketball court for, in particular, the last 5 years. But, kind of building up to this moment throughout the course of his career is just nothing short of spectacular. And, of course, Denver tonight, most importantly, gets the win in a historic Nikola Jokic performance, 149-141 over the Phoenix Suns there. I mean, I came into this show, watching the end of regulation there, going to overtime. I'm like, what am I going to talk about? Am I going to talk about blowing a 21-point lead? Am I going to talk about Christian Brown hitting a clutch three that we thought maybe would have been the game winner? Am I going to talk about Kevin Durant nailing a wide open 3-point shot in the corner to send it to overtime with a second left? And then Nikola Jokic gets to overtime and just takes over the game along with the rest of the Denver Nuggets as they end up solidifying themselves tonight in this game, 149-141. So, it's just one of those situations where just get your popcorn ready. And Jokic over the last few games, 4 or 5 games or so, has not been playing to Jokic standards. He's had a couple of triple doubles, a couple of soundboard doubles in that span as well. But, we're used to seeing Jokic just go out there and dominate these games. And he hadn't done that in about a week or, week and a half almost, and to see him go out there tonight and effortlessly just do his thing, poetry in motion. I mean, it's a blessing. And maybe I'm glazing, whatever you want to say, man. Like Nikola Jokic is the best player that I've ever seen. that I've ever seen. And I'm not afraid to say that. And sure, I'm biased living here in Denver, but the way that he can command a game, the way that he is the total package, the way that he has improved his three-point shooting, the way that he's a complete player across the board, right? Defense is maybe the one, part of his game that you want to nitpick at a little bit, but offensively, I mean, he is rock solid. He is absolutely, positively sound across the board. And he makes history tonight with the first 30-20-20 game in NBA history. I mean, what else is there to say, guys? And again, all due respect to SGA, you take SGA off of the Thunder are still going to be a playoff team. They're still going to be a pretty darn good team in the Western Conference. You take Nikola Jokic off the Denver Nuggets, they're not even making the playoffs. And again, if we're taking this literally most valuable player, there is no player in the NBA more valuable to his team than Nikola Jokic. No player. That's just the reality of the situation that we find ourselves in. And tonight for Joker, stuff in the stat sheet with 31 points, 21 rebounds, 22 assists, hit three three-point shots, 3 of 7 from beyond the arc, 13 for 22 from the field, 45 minutes played. And, after the game with Scott Van Pelt, as humble as ever. I'm looking forward to, getting in the training room and resting and recovering and getting ready for the next game. He's never going to be a guy that takes a victory lap. And I feel like the NBA, maybe more so than some of the other sports, these players love to take their victory laps, right? They relish the spotlight, not Nikola Jokic, humble as can be, as confident and fully secure in who he is as a player. And I am in awe when you watch Nikola Jokic play. Absolutely in awe. And look, I have my questions. We'll get into that here in the second segment about what this Denver Nuggets team can be in the playoffs. Are they a one-and-done team? Are they a two-and-done team? Or can they contend for an NBA championship? But the reality of the situation is when you have the best player in the world playing like the best player in the world, you're going to have a chance to beat anybody. And that's where you look to guys like Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon. It was such a weird game, right? They get out hot. What they put up in the first quarter, 30 plus? Yeah, almost 40 points did the Nuggets put up in the first quarter here tonight. I mean, they shot the lights out in the first, outscored Phoenix 37-28. Aaron Gordon making threes. Everybody making threes, throughout the course of this game. And then Denver kind of trickled, slowed down a little bit there in the second half. Despite scoring 34 points there in the third quarter, Phoenix was able to make it a game after a really strong fourth quarter from Phoenix as well to send this game to overtime, a game that had no business going to overtime, if we're being honest with ourselves. And yes, Nikola Jokic, gets these numbers, gets the first 30-20-20 game benefiting from being in overtime. But if you know Nikola Jokic, look, I've been in and around. I've covered him for so long, talked to him, interviewed him, been in the scrums, all that kind of stuff. I mean, he is not a guy that is out there hunting for stats. And I know that was a big talking point in the Embiid MVP season. About he's stuffing the stat sheet, he's stat padding, whatever it might be. Like, that's not who he is. He's just naturally that good. And it's like a game of chess to him. He's always 2 or 3 steps ahead, 2 or 3 moves ahead of his opponent. Even in his off nights, he still figures out a way to get within spitting distance of a triple double. So it's hard for me to find the words about Nikola Jokic. So I had to start the show there, as he puts forth a historic night. The first 30-20-20 game in NBA history. I mean, it's incredible to watch this guy play. We'll get into some of the issues for Denver coming up here in the second segment because, boy, oh boy, do we have to talk about that. It is not just a Nikola Jokic show, despite what we saw here tonight. I had to lead with that, but there are some issues. There are some flaws. There are some question marks about this Denver Nuggets team that we'll get into here in just a moment. But sit back, relax, and watch the highlights from this game. If you're younger like me, if I have kids one day, whatever it might be, we'll be showing the kids this game. I love Steph Curry. I love Kevin Durant. I love LeBron. All these guys. I have a lot of respect for these guys. There is nobody in the NBA, nobody that I've ever seen play basketball, current, present, past, whatever it might be, that plays the way and dominates the way that Nikola Jokic has. And, I was texting with some buddies, like, it's insane to watch this guy play. It's just absolutely insane to watch what he does on a game in and game out basis. And, I put it here in the rundown, like, he could be the greatest player of all time. He really could be. And I understand that the championships aren't there and this and that. I'm not trying to have that conversation right now, but when it comes to total offensive domination, when it comes to dominating the scoring, the rebounding, the assisting, I mean, it's just absolutely unreal. And I forget what the exact metrics were, but I saw it on the screen here on ESPN. It's Jokic, Wilt, and Oscar Robertson, I believe, the only players. I think it was like 30, 15, and 15. And look, Wilt, Oscar, tremendous amount of respect for these guys. Tremendous amount. What's what was JJ Redick's, old line, about playing against plumbers and firemen, right? I'm not going to discount anything that Wilt or Oscar did, but they were playing against lesser competition. Nikola Jokic is playing in, modern era NBA where everybody's an athletic freak. The 3-point shot is so essential, right? It's a different game than it was when Wilt and Oscar were playing. A much different game. And Nikola Jokic has figured out a way to master his craft. And the scary part about it, he's getting better. This is the best season Nikola Jokic has had, statistically. I mean, he's won 3 MVPs already. He should have won 4 if it wasn't for Embiid. And look at his numbers and look at his dominance and his influence. And this is the best season that Nikola Jokic is having. It's just like he keeps leveling up and leveling up and leveling up. I mean, it's just absolutely incredible. It really is. So, okay, I had to get that out of my system, man. What a game from Nikola Jokic. I'm playing hurt tonight, so I apologize if my voice is a little raspy. I'm under the weather. But you got to do a show. You got to talk about it. You got to get locked in or locked on, with a game like we saw here tonight. So let me know how you guys are feeling out there. Drop some comments. Talk to me about Nikola Jokic. Talk to me about the Nuggets struggles, whatever you guys want to talk about. I'm going to hit my first break. We'll come back and continue on the conversation right here on your Locked On Nuggets postcast. Back in just a moment, folks. All right, real quick, you guys, let me tell you about our friends over at Prizepicks. Basketball season is heating up, and there's no better way to get in on the action than with Prizepicks, the best place for daily fantasy sports. With Prizepicks, you just pick more or less on at least 2 player projections for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. It's easy to use, available in over 30 states, and lets you mix and match projections across the different sports, guys. You can build your lineups this week. I'm selecting Luka Doncic for more than 25 points and Jason Tatum for more than 8 rebounds. You could have picked Jokic for 20, 20, and 20, and you would have hit tonight on Prizepicks. It's quick and easy. Prizepicks makes it simple. You can set your lineup in less than 60 seconds and stay engaged all game long, and you're going to get paid out fast, guys. When you win, your money hits your account in as little as 15 minutes. No waiting around. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's LOCKEDONNBA for $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prizepicks, run your game. Let me also tell you real quick about our friends over at FanDuel. Again, if you bet the Nikola Jokic props on FanDuel, you made some good money tonight. When the game tips off, the NBA action is just getting started, and there's no better place to get it on than with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel, you can place live bets throughout the game, so even if you miss the opening tip-off or want to bet on a fourth quarter comeback, you can stay in the action. And if you're looking for a bigger payout, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay. I love using FanDuel's live betting feature because it keeps every moment of the game exciting. Whether I'm backing my team for a late game rally or picking up a player to hit a clutch 3, I never feel like I missed my chance. Plus, the app is easy to use, and when you win, you get paid instantly. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your shot at $150 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Okay, welcome on back into your Locked On Nuggets postcast. I am your host, Aniello Piro. You guys can follow me on social media at Media by AP. Do me a favor, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button. That way you guys never, ever miss an episode of your Locked On Nuggets postcast right here on your Locked On Sports Denver YouTube channel. As I always like to say, I'm the host of the show, but you, the fan, the listeners, the subscribers are the ones that help me drive the conversation. And boy, oh boy, do we have a lot to talk about here tonight. Some good. We got a lot of the good out of the way. With Nikola Jokic, there was some bad here tonight, which we'll talk about here as well. So go ahead and drop some comments and let me know how you're feeling out there, guys. We'll start with my boy Alejandro. Hope you're doing well, my man. He says, damn, not impressed, worried about OKC games. At least we won. 100%. 100%. If we're going to take the Nikola Jokic dynamic out of it, this is a game that Denver should have won going away. They led by what? As many as 21 points, I want to say. Let's confirm that for you. Yeah, 21-point lead. Phoenix had a lead, like they traded, leads early there in the first quarter, and Phoenix didn't have a lead there until late in the fourth before Christian Brown hit a nice big 3-point shot, which I thought was going to be the game winner. And then, with 1 second left, Kevin Durant hits a 3-point shot in the corner. We go to overtime. So nice to see Denver tighten things up in the overtime period. They outscore Phoenix 24-16 there. And that's how you get to your 149-141 victory. But this is a game that should have never sniffed overtime, if we're being honest with ourselves. And, Phoenix is not a good team, folks. They're mid. for lack of a better phrase. I know they have Kevin Durant. I know they have Bradley Beal and Devin Booker, but you are what your record says you are. And Phoenix is 29-34. Denver now 41-22 on the season, now 22-9 at home. So they've done a good job at home, have the Nuggets. But still, like this is a game that Denver should have won going away, especially with what they did from three-point land. They shot over 50% from three tonight. So, it makes you wonder, lackadaisical defense, some issues with the turnovers. I mean, only 9 turnovers, but just sloppy play from Denver there in the second half ultimately let Phoenix get, crawl back into this game and almost steal a victory, which would have been the second, come from behind victory for Phoenix in a row. And so I agree with you, Alejandro. I think, you're happy about the win. You're happy about Nikola Jokic's 30-20-20 night, the first in NBA history. But, there are some real deficiencies with this Denver Nuggets team, in particular on the perimeter. And it's crazy. Ignacio, my man, greetings from Chile. The Joker is crazy. 100%, man. Happy you were able to stay up and watch that game because, he's a global phenomenon right now, is Nikola Jokic. What a game for him. And, it was just an interesting game across the board. I mean, looking at Denver's starters, everybody had a good game for the most part. You're still waiting for Michael Porter Jr. to wake up a little bit offensively. Only 16 points tonight for MPJ, 1 of 5 from 3. I thought he played good defense tonight, especially late in the game, but only 2 rebounds. I've talked about how when he doesn't score, he makes up for what he's lacking in scoring with rebounds. That was not the case here tonight. Aaron Gordon, 9 of 15 from the field, 7 of 10 from 3, 27 points. Jamal with 19, Christian Brown with 25. He was 4 or 5 from 3. So, Denver did some good things offensively. But again, what is Michael Malone's number one concern? What is Michael Malone's biggest concern with this Denver Nuggets team? And frankly, anybody that watches the Denver Nuggets on a regular basis, what is the concern? It's their defense. And again, a 21-point lead. Denver allows Phoenix to crawl back into this game, push it to overtime. This game had no business going to overtime. No business. But thankfully, Joker goes Joker mode and helps push this team to victory here tonight, man. 149-141. So you like the outcome. But at the end of the day, it was too close. It was a lot closer than it should have been. Devin Booker did his thing tonight, 34 points. He was 5 of 10 from 3. Kevin Durant, as I mentioned, with that big time 3-point shot to send it to overtime. He had 29 points tonight. It is what it is with the Phoenix Suns. They have some talent. They've just been unable to kind of put it together throughout the course of this season. I mean, really the last couple of seasons since they've kind of gone down this Kevin Durant, saga and all that kind of stuff. It just has not worked out for them necessarily. But again, you're happy with the result. A win is a win. It doesn't matter, to use the Fast and Furious line, doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning is winning. But when it comes to kind of trying to forecast what this Denver Nuggets team is going to be come playoff time, there's some questions. More questions than answers, frankly. The one thing that I think you can bank on is Nikola Jokic and his ability to figure out a way to score points and dish out assists, right? But in order to get an assist, they got to make the shots, get the rebounds, all that kind of stuff. So there are still some big picture questions for this Denver Nuggets team. And it's going to be interesting because I think we're going to get the answer to some of those questions. And frankly, the MVP race might be decided, in the next few days here, folks. Back-to-back games for the Denver Nuggets against the Oklahoma City Thunder. They'll be on they'll be on national TV, rather, 11 a.m. tip-off at OKC Sunday morning on ESPN and ABC. And they play them again on Monday in Oklahoma City once again. So this is going to be 2 games in a row between 2 MVP hopefuls, 2 MVP favorites in Nikola Jokic and SGA. And honestly, if Jokic goes out there and dominates and Denver can figure out a way to win both of these games, I think it should be wraps on the MVP conversation, speaking frankly here, folks. 100%. But long way to go. Long way to go. Ignacio says here, I think Denver needs Jamal on a more consistent level. We need that extra push 100%. I don't think it's just Jamal, though, because Jamal, since, the start of 2025, is averaging right around 25 points a game. And, Jamal has been playing much, much better as of late, and I think, early in the season when Jamal was struggling and the Nuggets were struggling as well, 100%, you could point the finger at Jamal after that max contract extension this offseason. But now I'm looking at Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, Christian Brown, and frankly, just collective defense. That's what you're looking for. We know that Denver's thin on the bench. Zeke Naji's been nice. Russ has been nice in the spurts, right? Julian Strawther's hurt right now. Peyton Watson just worked his way back from an injury. But it starts and ends with the Nuggets starting 5. Can they match the energy they output on offense on defense? That's the $1 million question. That's the championship question with this Denver Nuggets team. And again, I'll say this. When you have the best player in the world in Nikola Jokic, you're always going to have a chance. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But Jokic can put up 40, 40, and 40. And it might not matter if Denver can't buckle down on defense. That's just the reality of the situation that we find ourselves in. So, again, a win is a win here tonight for Denver. You're happy with it. 149, 141 in overtime. The first game that Denver's played in overtime in quite some time. Actually, January 4th was the last time that Denver played an overtime game. They beat the San Antonio Spurs 122-111. And, so a good little gut check victory. Denver's now won 2 games in a row, beat Sacramento on Wednesday, beat Phoenix tonight. But we're going to learn a lot about the Denver Nuggets now over the next 4 games. At Oklahoma City twice in a row, Sunday and Monday, so back-to-back there. And then at home against Minnesota, home against the Lakers. These next 4 games are going to be very, very interesting, to say the least. But, all right, folks, what else is there to say? It's a good night. I'm seeing it here on my TV. Jokic is plus 230 to win the MVP currently. He was plus 400 when the day started. I might take a shot at plus 230, to be honest with you. The numbers speak for themselves. SGA is the minus 350 favorite. He was minus 700 entering the day today. Again, I'll end with this. There is no player more valuable, no single player more valuable to his team than Nikola Jokic for the Denver Nuggets. It's not a question, folks. The Nuggets are not a playoff team. Not a playoff team without Nikola Jokic. They're probably a bottom 3 team in the Western Conference, if we're being honest with ourselves. That is how valuable this guy is. So enjoy it, folks. The first ever 30-20-20 game. You witnessed it on TV. I'm talking about it here on Locked On. What a night for the Denver Nuggets. Do me a favor on your way out. Hit that like button. Smash that subscribe button. That way you guys never, ever miss an episode of your Locked On Nuggets postcast. You can follow me on social media as well at Media by AP. A historic night, one for the ages, as the Denver Nuggets get the job done in overtime over the Phoenix Suns. Have a good evening, folks. We'll talk to you guys on Sunday afternoon, hopefully after a win for the Denver Nuggets when they take on the Oklahoma City Thunder. Have a good one, folks.